this has set the tone now. You can't go anywhere that's going to be successful from having being mocked by South Park now, especially when they're planning more. I mean, what do you do? I think this is why Ari has just kind of backed off.
Did South Park and its famous worldwide privacy tour episode cause the downfall of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle? That is the new theory, which I actually think is worth looking into. Because for folk who don't remember, this episode, which was broadcast on American television on February the 15th, 2023, was the first time that criticizing the duplicitous Duke and her awful wife was acceptable, especially in the entertainment industry. Now, we know that the episode came at a really important moment for Harry and Meghan. He had just finished his press tour for Spare, and the Netflix series had aired. And of course, while there was a jokey nature to the episode, it almost immediately started to impact Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's popularity. So just a few days after the show aired, Newsweek, which at the time was slavishly devoted to positive coverage of Meghan and Harry, showed that the prince's popularity in America had dropped by 3%, Meghan's popularity was down by 4%, and it never recovered. Royal YouTube sensation P-Dina with me now. P-Dina, the South Park episode that potentially brought down Harry and Meghan. I don't think this is a theory that can be dismissed.
Absolutely. This is such a huge show that, and people know when they watch it, it's going to have that underlining truth behind all the things that are funny and being made fun of. So people start to then really question, oh, okay, they're making fun of things that's funny. And they're starting to see that people are like really taking heed to what was talked about, and their numbers go down. I mean, how do you even try to rise above this heavy criticism? This was, I think, a major blow to Harry and Meghan's popularity here in the States. And it speaks to how they can never really recover, because there are plans I've heard to even capitalize on that episode to make something bigger around the DEI and all the things that have happened recently. So Harry and Meghan can't recover, because once this has happened, you have set the tone for the perception that people have of you, even those that don't really know much about you. When you're being made fun of on South Park, people already have this idea now of who you are based on this comedy. And that's not good. I mean, Megan was looked to be hollow at the end of the episode. And now people see her really, she truly is a hollow person. I mean, there's nothing there. You can't get to her. You can't try to convince her otherwise to be something that is better. And this is how people see her. And Harry has just gone down with, the things he's talked about in his book Spare, and being made fun of on the late night talk shows. He is, uh, you know, they're in a position now where people are going to continue to make fun now. You can't now come out and be serious and be made to look at as someone that should be reckoned with as a talent and doing well and having a successful brand, because this has set the tone now. You can't go anywhere that's going to be successful from having being mocked by South Park now, especially when they're planning more. I mean, what do you do? I think this is why Ari has just kind of backed off,
Ari
because
Emanuel.
they would have prevented a lot of things happening. They would have never come out if they were protected by the agent. And it's just a free for all now. There's nothing they can do.
The thing about Trey Parker and Matt Stone, though, is that I don't even know if Ari Emanuel has the power to tell them not to do something. And they just got the whole thing spot on didn't they?
Yeah.
Do you remember in the episode that Meghan was dressed as she was dressed for Trooping the Colour in
Mhm.
2019? She was referred to as the Prince and Princess of Canada, or they both were, and they were seen at this large state funeral where they were booed by the rest of the family. Then they
Mhm.
arrive on set at Good Morning Canada promoting their book while holding the placard, "We want privacy. Stop looking at us." And that's when the international privacy tour begins, where where Harry keeps saying, "We just want to be normal people. All this attention is so hard." And they even visit France and India, chanting the pro-privacy slogan to bemuse locals, even to a field of kangaroos during a pit stop in Australia. And eventually they settle in the quiet town of South Park, Colorado, claiming, "If we moved here, people would think we're really serious about wanting to be normal." And it, unfortunately for them, hit them at a time when the rest of the world were waking up to this concept of, what, hang on a moment, we were maybe slightly behind this. I mean, I never was, but maybe some ordinary folk were sort of like, okay, if they just want out, we can understand that. But
Mhm.
it's the opposite. They invade their own privacy all the time. They invade their family's privacy all the time. And I think actually sometimes it is in comedy, P-Dina, where you get
Mhm.
the best reality. And I think when it comes to South Park and what they did for Harry and Meghan, actually, we can just thank them for it. But speaking
Mhm.
of showbiz, growing talk, P-Dina, that Meghan Markle may end up returning to Suits. They have launched this new version of Suits called Suits LA, and the creator, Mr. Korsh, who, let's face it, has not really launched the show particularly well, its ratings are down, has now issued a plea to Meghan Markle saying if she would want to come back over, it would be great. But I know Meghan is living her own life and she has so much going on, and I wish her the best. And if she ever wants to come back, we'll have her back. And I really like Link Lauren. He's a great guy. He's the former
Mhm.
advisor to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's now a real social media commentator of sort of the Gen Z group. And he posted on this: Meghan Markle fumbled the bag like I've never seen before in my life. She went from Suits to being literal royalty just to potentially end up right back where she started. She really is a bird brain fool. P-Dina, over to you. But first, do you know how often I talk about the need for free speech to be protected? But I've been increasingly thinking lately of the need for personal protection from snoopers, bad actors, and hackers online. And I'm delighted to tell you that I now have a solution. And what's more, this VPN, or virtual private network, to use the full term, is also a life changer when it comes to providing you entertainment and information from anywhere in the world, wherever you are. Let me introduce you to Surfshark, an incredible and easy to use service that encrypts all your internet traffic, meaning your online activities stay safe so you can shop, stream, browse, and conduct your banking online in complete privacy. But the benefits of Surfshark go way beyond keeping you safe online, because it also allows you, this is what's great, to access your favorite entertainment, news shows, channels, streaming services like Hulu, iPlayer, HBO Max, and Peacock from anywhere. Or, and this is really handy, trust me, as a big fan of the likes of Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney Plus, if one of your favorite shows is geo-blocked on that service, within seconds you can be watching as if you're in another country. If you're traveling for work or on holiday, you can also get all your favorite content from home, including sports. And this is an insurance policy, really, against creeping censorship in many countries. For example, France has blocked Rumble for many months now. So effectively, you can watch anything, anytime, anywhere. It's true freedom. And a VPN can save you money too, because did you know? I didn't know this until very recently, that websites often change their prices depending on where in the world you are buying from. So you can just test that out. Another real benefit of Surfshark is you have it available to use on unlimited devices, meaning your entire household can stay safe with just one subscription. There are over 3,200 servers in over 100 countries, meaning a world of choice is at your fingertips with 24/7 customer service if this is your first time using a VPN. So go to surfshark.com/outspoken for an extra 4 months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. Surfshark is so confident that it's the best VPN in the world that if you give it a try for a full 30 days and you're not entirely satisfied, you will get your money back. So surfshark.com/outspoken for an extra 4 months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price, or you can just click in the link in the description box below this video if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble. But now, back to the show.
Yes, isn't that just amazing how she has been so successful at failing and doing everything wrong? I mean, part of the problem I think also is to when you were looking at the South Park, she can't make fun of herself. She can't seem to find humor because she's so uptight about success. I've got to do this. I've got to do it. And then she just gets mocked. And, I think if anything, going back on Suits would be what she needs to do. But we look at her as someone that doesn't want to seem to recognize her past successes. I mean, this was a success for her, I think, being on Suits. And she just can't seem to bring herself to going back because I think she looks at it as a step down. And I've also heard that there were some talks of her coming back, but she wanted to have more of a hand in producing. She wanted to be higher up on the call sheet. She wanted to be a producer. She wanted to have so much more control, and they weren't willing to do that. And I think that could be true because it makes sense to what she would do. But that's the problem. She can't make fun of herself. She can't show humility by going back to her roots. She thinks coming in with this title now with Harry on her arm as her handbag, Harry, that she can just have immediate success and she doesn't, have to, show that she needs to work hard for it and to try to start a little bit smaller, even though you are coming with the title now and having been married into the royal family. That is her problem. She can't wake up to who she really is. She can't wake up to just being authentic. She has a serious problem that we are watching on the world stage, and the only one that knows about it are us. She doesn't even recognize her own problems. She's in her delusion. So, yeah, try to go on Suits and to, try to build over again would be, I think, a good starting point for her, but she can't start there anymore. She wants to have this immediate success. That's her problem. Somebody that can get through to this woman needs to talk to her. Because if you can't listen to Ari Emanuel from WME, you can't listen to the people that are mocking you. You can't try to be someone to be reckoned with. Then where do you go from here? We just sit and watch you in your delusion, eating our popcorn and saying, "Woman, what's wrong with you? Snap out of it. Are you still going to be a little lost in your delusion? Okay, we're going to sit and watch and just make fun of you and see how you're going to fail the next time, right? Because there's going to be a next time because she doesn't give up. But she couldn't keep trying in the royal family, could she? That she immediately gave up. But this, she's going to keep trying and failing.
Yeah, because the
Unbelievable.
difference is this time it's all about money. And that's the tragedy. One of the biggest privileges, P-Dina, of being a member of the royal family is the fact that you don't have to think about money. You can just think about the world. That is actually the huge advantage members of the royal family have. And yet that wasn't good enough for Meghan. So that's why all of the humanitarian talk is just complete bull. But look, P-Dina, there's another theory that is going around in America a little bit, and this is all about comparing Meghan Markle to Kamala Harris, the former vice president and Democratic candidate who is certainly having a lot of difficulty in her post-White House reincarnation, not surprisingly. And I wanted to show you a discussion that took place on Meghan McCain's new two-way show with Perez Hilton and Catherine Maryham, because it's an interesting theory and I wonder if you agree. Watch this.
Meghan Markle gives me the same exact vibes as Kamala Harris. It is the same problem. I don't know what she's saying. Like 99.9% of the time, she's trying to like put words together, and I don't know what she's saying.
Yeah.
And so that inauthenticity is real with those two. And I just don't know what's going on. Female to female.
Yeah.
Any comments?
Yeah, I think there is a lack of authenticity. There's an attempt to be too polished. There is this like sort of faux surprise that everyone like, oh, Netflix gave me money. Oh, I got the nomination. Like you weren't surprised by that.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of that going on. And I also think there's just when you're in politics, when it comes to Kamala Harris, and like Mitt Romney, who I very much like and respect, is similar, where it's like you either have it or you don't on a national level. And certain people do, and certain people do not, and you cannot force it. Like, you either have it or you don't, and there's an X factor.
Yeah, and I think the people in culture and politics that Americans like, and I personally am drawn to, I love people who are real about mistakes they've made. And like all of us, Perez, Mary Catherine, I like, we've all been like, you know what, I screwed up at that moment. That wasn't my best take. That wasn't my best, whatever. And I think the problem with both of them is it's just like, it seems to be very hard to be candid and honest. I would send both of them on a series of podcasts, starting with Joe Rogan on down, and you obviously too, Perez. And I don't think they're capable because when you rip your skin off and show people your vulnerabilities, you also get hurt. But the upside is you show people who you are. So I agree with you. And I also think like they're both going to fade away into cultural obscurity sooner versus later.
Really interesting, I thought, especially in terms of Meghan's strategy for maybe how she'd try and recover things for Meghan Markle and Kamala Harris. Although, fundamentally, she thinks they're both going to fade away into obscurity. Do you agree?
I do. I do. I think I always try to put out hope that people eventually wake up to their delusion. I don't know if it can happen now for Megan. And I think she's at a point now where she's got to try something different. I get what she was saying about not knowing what they're saying, Kamala and Megan as well. I think they just try to be too polished and then it just comes off like, huh, what? You don't really understand what you're getting. There's a lot of confusion there, and that is what turns people off. People want to be able to connect, to relate. So when you can't do that, people fall off and they, don't find you very interesting because, they can't relate to you. And I think that's the problem that they both have. But there's always a way for redemption. I think it can happen. At least I mean, I try to be a positive person and not to be down on people all the time. I really do. That's why I'm all about learning. But I think when you can't really learn anymore and you can't seem to find, the way to make it work, then you kind of just fall off and people forget about you. And at some point you'll have to recognize that as well, because you're not going to be able to get any more chances to get on that stage again to prove yourself. And I think that's what's going to eventually happen for Megan and possibly Kamala as well. It just seems like you have to wake up to your reality. And the sooner you do that, the better. But if you don't, obscurity is what it's going to be forever for you.
Can, as
get out of
ever,
it.
P-Dina, because we're just a couple of days away now from the launch of With Love, Meghan, can the combination of that show and that brand make a difference for Meghan?
No, I'm sorry. As ever, Megan, that's just not going to work. You're not getting to a place where people are going to be able to connect with you on that show. I think the first episodes is going to do well only because a lot of people want to see, well, what is she going to do? They'll see it's not going to be interesting. It's going to fall off, just like her Archetypes show did. And then we're back to where we started all over again, and it's just it's Megan waiting to find her failure. That's what it is. she's waiting to find it. They were scrambling, I heard, to try to make some changes and put in some of her humanitarian work with the LA fires, but yeah, that was a bomb as well. Like, people saw right through that. And so this is just another episode of what happened with archetypes. It's going to be a disaster for her because she hasn't changed up anything. She's still that superficial person. Rather than just hearing her, we're going to get to see it now with this show. So that's the only difference. Same thing.
P-Dina, brilliant analysis as ever. So love having you. And of course, everyone needs to follow Royal YouTube sensation P-Dina. Subscribe to her YouTube channel because you get so much of this brilliant analysis, and we'll speak very soon. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.